Hey howdy hey, how is everybody doing? In today's video, we are going to talk about the highly anticipated movie from Phase 4 of Marvel, The Eternals. Now, if you're sitting at home thinking, I don't know anything about The Eternals, well, take a deep breath and relax, because I'm here to help and give you everything you need to know about the Eternals. So first and foremost, you are probably wondering, where did the concept of Eternals come from? Well, the comic series was written by Jack Kirby in 1976. The comic series was actually never finished. It stopped at issue 19. Now, the big question of them all, who are the Eternals? Where did they come from? What is their purpose? Do they have certain villains that they fight? As the story goes, the Eternals were created by the godlike beings, the Celestials. Did a little bell just go off in your head when I said the word Celestials? Well, if it did, it is because we have heard of the Celestials before in the Marvel Universe, specifically in the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Do you remember the character Ego, aka Star-Lord's dad? He is a Celestial, which gives us some kind of a tie to the Marvel world. Now, as I was saying, the Eternals were created by Celestials when they came to Earth. The Celestials began doing experiments on select human beings. Their end result were two byproducts: the human-like, partially immortal, and all-powerful Eternals. The Eternals have various powers such as telekinesis, super strength, super speed, cosmic energy, force fields, levitation, and more. The purpose of the Eternals was to protect the Earth and be the wielders of the Infinity Stone. Now, you may be asking, if the Eternals are the good guys, then where are the bad guys? Well, that brings me to the second byproduct of the Celestials' experimentation. Not only did they produce the Eternals, but they made the Deviants. Deviants also have genetic mutations like the Eternals, but aren't as powerful. They have deformed appearances and appear more like a monster than they are a human. Now, another way this ties into Marvel is Thanos is actually the child of two Eternals. In the comics, when he was born, his mother was so disgusted by his looks that she tried to kill him. Side note, Thanos also has a brother named Star Fox. More of the good child, I guess you could say. Now, I am still a bit confused myself on this one, so if you know the confirmed answer, please leave it in the comments, but essentially, I think Thanos is an extraordinarily powerful Eternal with a genetic mutation that gave him the powers of an Eternal, but the looks and behavior of a Deviant. Now, shifting towards more of what we know regarding the movie. The movie was announced at the Marvel Studios panel at the San Diego Comic-Con. At this panel, we were introduced to the actors and actresses who would portray these all-powerful beings. First up, we have Ikaris, who will be played by Richard Madden, who we all famously know as Robb Stark from the hit series Game of Thrones. Ikaris is a handsome leader who wields all the powers known to the Eternals. He is said to be the most powerful Prime Eternal. All of his powers are at maximum and full force. He is basically the whole package as far as superheroes go. Next, we have Cersei, who honestly is one of the coolest looking characters. Gemma Chan from Crazy Rich Asians will be playing this particular character. This Eternal specializes in the ability to use transmutation, kind of like a mad scientist. She can change atomic structures in organisms, but amongst humans, it is perceived as magic. It is to be noted that she has other powers, but this being her primary go-to power. In the comics, she also has a thing for Captain America and actually aids the Avengers in several different instances. Playing the character Kingo is Kumail Nanjiani from The Big Stick. Kingo is an Eternal who is a highly specialized swordsman. Kingo has studied the ways of the samurai and doesn't use much other than his sword in combat. Our next Eternal is the accomplished fighter Thena, who will be played by one of my favorite actresses, Angelina Jolie. Now, Thena, like all the other Eternals, has various powers that I previously mentioned. She can fly and is a skilled hand-to-hand fighter. Additionally, Thena's signature choice of weapon is a bow and spear. Next is Gilgamesh, aka the Forgotten One, who will be played by Don Lee. When it comes to Gilgamesh, think of him as like the Hercules of the Eternals group. He is great in hand-to-hand combat and is arguably even better than Ikaris when it comes to this type of fight. Starring as the Eternal known as Ajak, we have the notable Salma Hayek. Ajak is basically the brains of the operation. She's the only one who can communicate with Celestials. Ajak also has an extensive background in archaeology, which I found to be very interesting. Next, we have Makkari, who will be played by The Walking Dead's Lauren Ridloff. Makkari is an Eternal with an interesting past. past. She was once an engineer, studied alongside Plato, and even jammed out with Elvis. Makkari has the same powers as the others, but her specialty is super speed. The tech-savvy Phastos will be played by Brian Tyree Henry from the show Atlanta. This particular Eternal is more of a behind-the-scenes fighter. He is the tech advisor and equipment manager for the team. He isn't much of the battle type, but more of the behind-the-scenes, making the magic happen type of guy. Last but not least, rounding out the cast is the character Sprite, played by Leah McHugh. Sprite is the prankster amongst the Eternals who is constantly getting into trouble and takes pranks a little too far amongst the humankind. I'm really interested to see where exactly they will take this particular character storyline in the grand scheme of things. Well, that about sums it up for this video on everything you need to know about the Eternals. As always, thanks for being my guest. Until next time.